everybody. I've been building a new PC for the last couple of weeks, and it's something I can do in a couple of hours normally, but we've had a few things happening and I haven't got around to finishing it, but all the way through it I've been filming what I've been doing, and I thought it'd be quite interesting to put it up because a lot of the guys who subscribe, thank you, to my channel, love the PC stuff. So I'm building in a 250D. I go through some of the component installation. Don't go crazy because most of you know how to do this type of thing. If you've got any questions, then pop them in the comments. But this is going to be part one. I would imagine I'll get the rest of it finished in the next week, depending. Like I said, there's a lot going on at the moment, and haven't had a lot of time to do this type of thing. So thanks for sticking with me. I apologise I've not got many videos up, but like I say, things are happening in life. But yeah, so stick with me. I'll get part 2 of my webcam video up as well, and no doubt we'll put some game footage up of everything as well soon. So hope you enjoy this. If you have any questions or anything like that, pop them in the comments, and I'll get part 2 up as soon as possible. Hello everybody, welcome back to Ren Gaming. Right, this is going to be the first PC build I've ever filmed, and it's my first mini ITX case. This is going to be probably quite disjointed. There'll be lots of cuts and folds all the way through it, but we're going to be building in the Corsair 250D, which I put the unboxing up off, but I haven't had time to do the build yet. But I've got some time this weekend, so hopefully I'll be able to get it finished, although I am a bit of a sucker for doing things as neatly as possible, so it ain't going to be a 20-minute job. Anyway, so I've got a whole lovely big pile of components. We've got the Z87i gaming, that's the mini ITX from MSI, and then we've got a GTX 770 down there, that's the overclocked one, the twin Frozr gaming one. We've got an AX760, there's an i5 4670K, we've got 8 gig of 1866 Corsair Dominator Platinum. There's a H80i here which I will be reusing if I can work out where to fit it in the build. So hopefully I'll have this done within a day and we'll get all the lovely videos up. I'm not going to go into mad details about how to do every single thing, but I think I will cover a lot of it. So I hope you continue watching. Maybe I'll break this video into bits, maybe I won't, but let's get on with the first bit. I'm not sure if it's all going to get in shot, but what we have got is the new MSI Z87i mini ITX board, and I'm going to fit it on the rear, this way up, the mounting bracket. So you'll see the mounting bracket for the H80i, and I think for the H100i has this small cutout at the bottom. Now if you look on the board itself, you see these 2 screws here, so this bit goes with the 2 screws on, and it is just as simple as popping it through the holes, although these are adjustable and it will take a little bit of wangling. There we go. Now of course this has been fitted previously, and then next in the box you get these little standoffs. Now this is for an Intel, but these standoffs, these are the same length front and back, and these pull in. That's what we always say, opposite corners, although it doesn't make much difference this time around. These don't do up tight. As I said with the H105, they won't do up tight and it will feel loose, so you may think, oh no, I've done something wrong, when in fact it's the way it's designed. That's all you have to do. You don't have to get a spanner on them or anything like that. You do it up, and as you can see that on the back there, it is loose. But when you put the pump block on and attach with these screws, it pulls it tight. So don't worry, if it is loose still after you've finished, you've done something wrong, or you've got a defective unit. But that's how easy the back plate is to fit on. So thanks for watching. Let's cut, and I'll get the next bit as soon as possible. Just so I put this in, when you fit your motherboard, do not forget to put in the rear I/O, this little fella. Now you're probably not going to be able to see me fitting this, so I'll strip this case down. this is where the connections and everything that plugs into your motherboard, which I cannot open. Gentle, because they're never made of terribly stern stuff, so make sure it's the right way up, which it will be. Don't forget to put that in, otherwise you'll only have to take your motherboard back out to do it. I just want to show you the MSI board. Now what MSI have done is they've put the 24 and the 8 pin here and here, which are going to be, when you plug it in, at the top, so where the fans blow through in the case. What I was hoping to do was I was going to route this underneath the motherboard so it looks sweet, but it's not going to fit, so I'm going to have to get a little bit creative to make it look tidy. So there's just a warning for you guys: when you look at the MSI board, even though apparently it's a beast, you're going to have to be a little bit creative with your cable management. Right, so I've only fitted 3 things, and you can already see it's going to be tight. The reason I put the fans in already is because, as I said earlier, where MSI put these 24, the 8 pin and the SATA connections at the top, I was hoping I could run it down underneath the motherboard like this, but it's not going to be possible because Corsair have put this small lip all the way round, which is a shame really, because otherwise the 24, if you flattened it, would fit beautiful down under there. When you look at some of the other boards on the market, the majority of them are up here. There are a couple where they're here, and depending on how good the board is, obviously, I would prefer to have my 24 and my 8 here, so you can put your DIMMs, your RAM, and then have your 24 and 8 there. But I think we can probably get creative with a couple of cable ties. There's loads of cable mounts, places to tie things down in here. So, right, another cut. Right, so I'm just going to pop the AX760 power supply in the Corsair 250D. This is the bracket for the rear of it. Most cases these days, power supply screwing from the top sides or bottom. This one comes on the back. There may be fixing screws on the bottom. If there is, then I will fix it that way as well. So the bracket has these 2 cutouts at the top. Now that fits on top ways because there's 2 rivets it needs to avoid, and then pop a screw in there, and a screw in there. Now I have to say, I don't believe it's that easy, so I'm going to make a cut. In fact, it is that easy. There are no fixing holes on the bottom, so it's just the 4 screws in the back. The reason I fitted it without, I know a lot of the time with these mini ITX builds, you want to be fitting your cables first, but let me spin this around and show you. There is plenty of room at the moment for me to get my hands in here, because I'm not sure which cables I'm going to need, because the H80i uses an old Molex and bits and bobs, doesn't it, for power, or a SATA for power. So yeah, there we go. Right, now I'm just trying all the components to make sure everything fits. Now, I mean, I could probably build a PC in about 15 minutes if I wanted to, but it has to look right and everything has to fit right. So I've just tried the GPU, that fits lovely. RAM, there's no issues. Obviously we've got the 2 AF120s in the back, in the side. These are going to be sucking out. Now a lot of people were saying about using everything so the air comes in and these suck out, but because I've got the H80 on there, and the Twin Frozr is, you know, one of the best aftermarket cooling solutions there is, I'm not too fussed about heat build up. We're going a little look from the back. If you can hear the washing machine in the background, like I always say on Sundays when I'm making my videos. I do apologise, but you know, life goes on. All the rest of it. I hope you can all see this alright. The lighting here is awful at the moment, but you see the problems we're going to have with getting these cables, as I was saying, due to MSI putting the connectors all at the top, the 8-pin over here, the front panel headers are here, the front panel audio is down here. We've had to be a little bit creative with it, but you can see I use braided extensions. Now I braid my own extensions. The reason is I don't want to void the warranty on my power supplies, but it's going to leave a little bit of a mess, but it'll all be tucked under the H80, which is going in the front. I think we may have had another problem as well. This motherboard only has 2 fan headers. One is for the CPU, which the H80 will have to plug into, otherwise it's going to throw a spaz and think we haven't got a cooler on it. And then I think we're going to have to split the other 4 fans and put them into a single, so we're going to have to split them twice, and I'm not sure that's going to have an effect, but we'll wait and see. But otherwise it's looking alright. The front panel headers I've had to route down there. You won't be able to see that when it's finished, along under the GPU, and then through a small hole, and they come out here and they run along, and I've got it all kind of tie wrapped up. The camera's not doing it justice. It actually looks much neater than it actually is. So I'm going to pop the processor in. I could have done this first, but yeah, I'm going to do it now. The reason I've gone for the i5 is because this is primarily a gaming rig. I'm not going to be burning videos or doing any kind of really media. It's going to be for watching movies, you know, playing games at medium to high settings. So I didn't really want an i7, and I was thinking, well, for the 70-80 pound difference, we might as well go for this. And they're fantastic, though. You know, you can overclock them, and they're not as good as i7s, but they're not far off. So we're going to show you how to do this. So there's going to be cuts while I decide what to do in my life, etc. So this is the motherboard. This is the cover over the pins that you do not want to be sticking your fingers on or anything like that, which is why they're covered, because if they're bent, well, you fucked it basically, and that is that. They are easy to take off. This little clip pops out, lifts up. Ta-da! There you go, and these generally pop straight off. Although this is easier to do with both hands. There you go. And that leaves you here. Now I'm not sure this is going to pick that up, but on there are hundreds and hundreds of little tiny pins that the the processor sits on. Now if you should bend one, or you know, dribble on one or something like that, it's going to fuck it up. So you need to be very careful here, but it will only go in one way unless you force it. Give me a sec to do a cut and I'll get the chip in and show you. So when you look at these, you'll see in the bottom here, where are we? Bottom corners, there are 2 little cutouts. And when we look on there, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but there are, at the top, 2 little cutouts. So that tells me that this goes in this way round, like that, plonk and plonk. Fitted, easy as that. And then the bit everyone's like, oh, I don't want to do it because it makes a horrible crunchy sound, is, well, this is not easy with one hand. No, hang on, excuse the shaky camera. And then you basically fitted, easy as that, no fucking around, no nothing. As long as you know which way around you're doing it, basically you can tell because the intel on top, the writing's facing you. So there you go. Hello everybody, I'm just going to show you the fitting the Corsair H80 onto the CPU. Now this is what I'm using. I use the Arctic Silver 3. Now I've had Arctic Silver 5. Sorry, I've had this for a while now. And on the video where I did the H100, H105, I showed you how to do the clean it with this stuff, so I'm not going to go too much into that. But you can see I have put a little tiny smudge. It's about the size of a grain of rice, and that is all you need, and that will squidge out and be awesome for cooling when you get to it. So I'm going to have to make some cuts and try and get my tripod set up. There we go. Right, included cables with... I'm talking to the video. Included cables with the H80. Now when we look at the H80i, when we look at this side, this is for the fans, so this plugs in. This is for, I have no idea, Corsair Link possibly, but this is the actual USB cable. I'm waving around here, and this goes in the other side. It's one of these, plugs in. There we go, just in there like that. So it is a bit of a mess, although it's not as bad as some of these all-in-one coolers. But like me, I would think most of you will plug this in, change the colour of the LEDs on the Corsair to match the build, and then unplug it and never use it again. Corsair Link is terribly buggy. If you use it Windows 8, Windows 8.1, well, it doesn't work with Windows 8.1 unless they've released a driver update for it. But even with Windows 8 it struggles sometimes. So yeah, another cut. So excuse the rustling, of course we're in a busy lounge. With the magnetic bracket on and all of your cables in place, you simply drop it onto the standoffs you've already put on there. Easy as that. And then using the provided thumb screws, which I hope you can all see when I'm doing this, these little fellas, you put them on, screw it down. So tops to corners, same with everything else. Now, like I said in the last one with the H105, this bracket is loose until you do it up. I mean, the mounted bracket doesn't pull up tight until this stage here. You have to excuse me, I am not prepared and I do not have everything to hand. So you see these cables are a bit of a pain, which is why I put them in first. But this USB one, to be honest, you can pop out, put back in when you're ready for it. Of course it's going to be a bit easier without the RAM in the way, but I've got everything in there because the way I'm trying to orientate this H105 in the front of the Corsair 250, I have to say it is a bit of a squeeze, and I was going to try and run it in push-pull. I think it probably will go, and these chips do run hot, so two fans obviously better than one. Now I am just tightening these screws, just touching them ever so gently. You don't need to go mad. Fitted. Easy as that. Now we need to do something with all these horrid cables in this tiny little case, which is going to be good fun. There we go. The cables that come out of the pump block on the H100, the H80i and the H100i have a SATA, and I believe in an earlier video I said it was my mistake, it's a SATA. But they also have the CPU fan control on there. Now that must plug into the CPU header on the motherboard, otherwise it's going to throw a spaz and think there isn't a cooler in place, and obviously this plugs into your SATA that provides power. And this comes out the pump. Now this is for the two fans, or the one fan depending how you're running it, on the H80i or the H100i. Now they go into a splitter, so they run into one, and because they plug in here, they're controlled through the pump, so happy days. So it means I can use my other system fans, either plugging straight into the 12 volt Molex, or on the other system fan in there. So as you know, I've gone for a completely modular power supply, and the reason being because I only need these cables. I don't know if you can see them in shot. There we go. I only need them. So we've got the 24. We've got two PCIEs. We've got the 8-pin to the motherboard, and we've got a SATA. Now this is going to feed both drives, both hard drives, and the H80i. So we should, fingers crossed, not have too much mess in here. Let's get them fitted. So one interesting thing I found with the AX760 power supply is the PCIe cables. Obviously this plugs into your into the power supply, this end here, and when it gets here you've got a splitter, so I assume you could pop both in on one. Now it is a dedicated 12 volt rail, so there shouldn't be any problem, but I am going to err on the side of caution because I don't want to take it all to bits, and I'm going to put both in. So we'll just use one and one. So it's not finished, but we managed to get the H80 in push-pull. H80i, sorry, in push-pull, and I didn't actually think I was going to be able to do it. I had to pop it out just to make sure all the cables I needed were in there, but the everything is looking good so far. So from the front, there we go, and I've still got the SATAs hanging out the side because I'm going to, and I've still got the connections for the hard drives sticking out. But the good thing is this bracket, the hard drive cage, which I'm not going to the drive cage, which I'm not going to be using, will clip back in, and it will cover up all that mess. So all you're going to be able to see is that, and with the lid on, all you're going to be able to see is that. Happy days.